What's goody? We back with another video. The Way of Walking Alone by Miyamoto Musashi, the Dokkodo. Accept everything the way it is. A lot of time we like to look at the world through our own lens, our own truth, but we never look at it as the objective truth, the actual truth, but never actually what is. We often think of things how it should be, but I find that when you accept the world the way that it is, it kind of opens your eyes. There's a kind of sense of freedom when it comes to that, because then you know how to realistically operate, right? And that to wish or to think that the outcome should be any different or that it will be any different is just straight delusion. Sometimes we forget that the world is not perfect. We forget that, it doesn't revolve around us and that we don't create the story. Sometimes unfortunate things happen. We're all just living our lives. We're all just going through life. That's the world. We can't expect the world to give us an outcome that's desirable to us. We can't expect an outcome of how things should be, which is why you must accept that it is outside of our control and that oftentimes things happen that we can't control, and there's no use in stressing over it at all. Now, chapter 2 of the Dokkodo is do not seek pleasure for its own sake. We live in a generation where we face massive overindulgence, overstimulation, instant gratification, validation, all these Asians. Miyamoto Musashi wrote this with discipline and self-control in mind, because in our own hands we have either something that can make us or break us. The man that practices mindfulness, the warrior that trains his body and mind, that doesn't let these things have control over him, but he decides, right? Do not seek pleasure. Only time you would ever seek pleasures is when you're not on your purpose, when you're not in a direction, because you have nothing else better to do but to seek those type of things. But when you're focused, then that's the only thing that you're seeking is your goals, your grind. Number 3 is, under any circumstances, do not depend on impartial feeling. You either do or you don't. You either act or you don't act. There is no partial, there is no in the middle, because you're gonna get caught in between. When it comes to this chapter, I like to think of decisiveness and having the full facts. We don't have the full story, but we often act on first impulse, or we lose our head, right? So if you're not making a decision that you are in control of, do not depend on a partial feeling. Not everything requires a reaction, not everything requires an answer, and being calm and collected is always important. Chapter number 4 of the Dokkodo is think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. But oftentimes we get caught up in drama and the news and all these things, and it almost has nothing to do with us. But just because it goes against our morals, it goes against our opinion, we get mad and we let these outlets tug at our emotions, pull strings on how we feel in the moment, putting us in a bad mood. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like anything external having a control on me emotionally. And I think part of the reason why this happens is because our ego. We feel like our opinion, we feel like a moral, our ethics matter. It doesn't change anything. And so I think this chapter is about humbling yourself. The world is something that's bigger than ourselves and that we're just living on it. And it's the realization that the efforts in our purpose and being a better person is more often than not bigger than ourselves. Number 5 is be detached from your desires lifelong. In a time where instant gratification is as easy as waking up in the morning and the first thing you do is look at your phone. You feel your phone vibrate in your pocket and you gotta check it, and you look and no messages. It's just your imagination. What comes to my mind when it comes to this chapter is 2 words, and that's stoicism and to do the things you need to do regardless about how you feel. I don't think having desires is a bad thing, but I think in this chapter the way he says desire is basically things of the world, things that your mind automatically wants but it's not good for you. So imagine like things like porn, eating junk food, sleeping all the time, all the bad habits, right? So do you choose to be the blinding consumer with deteriorating habits, or the stoic warrior, sharpened body and mind, focused, meditating under a waterfall? The key foundation to success, literally, you can be better than most men right now by giving up your desires. Discipline is ignoring those desires, the bad habits. Ambition and fear defeat outer desires every time. The fear of failure and the ambition to be the best overcomes that desire when it's there. Number 6 is do not regret the things that you have done. Oftentimes we're stuck in the past, we're stuck in the things that we've done, we're stuck in the things that have happened to us. I always think to myself that no matter what I've done, no matter everything I've gone through, right, I don't think I will ever want to change the course of how everything played out, because I'd still want to be who I am right now, and I wouldn't want to change who I am right now. You feel like regret, you feel like that was dumb, you feel like it was pointless in the end, and you kind of stay stuck on that. and you kind of hold on to it. Maybe you had to go through it so that you can show somebody else later on that that's not the way to go, because you've done it, you experienced it, and that you know how it feels, you know what it looks like to be on that side. Number 7 is never be jealous. They say when seeking revenge, you start by digging 2 graves. It's a human feeling, right? It's natural. But I also think that if you have good self-reflection and good confidence, you don't have room for jealousy in your heart. And honestly, as a warrior, as a man, you don't have room for doubt. You don't have room for lack of confidence. You lack something inside yourself, which is why I'm telling you that you can't afford to have that. So you really got to self-reflect, and if there's really is something that you're lacking, right? Maybe that's an opportunity for you to grow. How can I be better? It's not why them and not me. It should be, how can I reach that level? An effective leader is always a good student, but that takes self-reflection. That takes confidence in yourself, putting your emotions and your ego to the side and growing. Number 8 is never let yourself be saddened by a separation. And I want to make this chapter not only about separation, but also about having the heart to walk away. And notice how I said heart. I think oftentimes we get ourselves in situations, in relationships, in scenarios where our mind knows and tells us we shouldn't be in, but our heart chooses to stay. And as far as separation goes, do not let sadness of a separation hold you back from continuing on with life. As difficult as it may be, as much as it hurts, as sad as it is important to overcome the weakening of sadness and to not let it cripple you, because you must honor the separation and keep going, just as life continues, just as everything else. Why not use this as an opportunity to move forward as a leader, as a man, as a warrior? In the events of something unfortunate, people are going to look to you for strength. People are going to look to you for guidance and leadership. Be resilient, my friend. Number 9 is resentment or complaint are neither appropriate for oneself or others. When it comes to complaining, nobody cares. Nobody cares, because life, your actions, whatever, still needs to be done. The reason why a complaint doesn't matter is because there are real victims in the world. There are worse things happening to people right now. And complaining about our problems, our little inconveniences, doesn't make anything better. And being able to control yourself in times of minor inconveniences, being able to remain stoic, unaffected, is a strength, because where others would lose their cool, where others would be affected, they allow their emotions to be manipulated. And resentment goes into the category of revenge and jealousy. You're digging 2 graves. A person that's confident in themselves doesn't have room for resentment in their heart. Number 10 is a big one, and I feel like it's a problem that a lot of young men face today, and it's do not let yourself be guided by the feelings of lust or love. With the porn, with the over-sexualization of social media and music, it seems like everything's almost a tug at your instincts, a tug at your attention. We're to a point to where it's normalized now. They feel negative after. They feel negative about it. They want to stop. They want to quit. They know it's a bad habit. You don't ever hear people say, oh man, I gotta quit the gym. I don't feel good after I quit the gym. Yeah, people stop because of inconsistency, but nobody ever says that. But people say that for smoking. People say that when it comes to porn. People say that when it comes to drinking. A person that is controlled by these emotions is a liability. Letting these emotions have a control on you makes you a liability, because you can be easily exploited through these emotions. As far as the problem with watching porn that a lot of young men face, don't overindulge with your eyes. Don't be a simp degenerate. Be a noble warrior that's disciplined, that has self-respect. Don't let lust be your master. Neither should love, but allow love to guide your decisions. Allow your decisions to be guided by love. Never allow love to hinder your ability to make a proper decision.